防控通知内容，严格执行居家隔离措施，做到人不出区，错峰取物，请广大居民群众切实履行个人防疫责任，遵守江阴市疫情防控通知内容，严格执行。
Oh, wow, cool. That's a Chinese Communist government drone with a megaphone and a camera pointed inside of your private bedroom, mainly because, you know, the government loves and cares for you so much, right? Duh. What else would it be used for? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Lukadevsky here of WeAreChange.org, and we got a lot more crazy dystopian news to get into today. As of course, in Europe, there's a very serious situation brewing that will absolutely explode on October 1st, and there's no avoiding it. What's happening, what's going on, the larger impacts of it, well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media organization. So much news, so much dystopia, so much propaganda and disinformation out there. We're just going to jump right into it, as of course, the video that we played in the beginning of this broadcast looks like it is from Chinese TikTok. It has not been officially verified, of course, as that's something that's very impossible to do from China, but I think it's fair to say, with the way that things have been going in mainline communist China, that of course this is the next logical technocratic tyrannical step. Steps that, of course, some people within our own government in the Western world have been making, especially after a very political divisive speech by the current president of the United States that a couple days ago addressed half of the nation as a part of the larger problems plaguing our society. Yes, very aggressive, very divisive speech made by the current president of the United States that, of course, elements of the corporate media cheered on, as MSNBC called it a, quote, urgent wartime address. The same network that, of course, keeps evoking the Civil War, as many people accuse it of trying to spur it on with, of course, its very divisive partisan media coverage that truly is really just propaganda. These are the authoritative sources that get promoted by YouTube for some reason, while our voices get squashed. And as some networks are spreading fear, other networks are spreading confusion, just like CNN, that literally looks like it's contradicting itself almost every other article. Recently, they were warning about the Great Barrier Reef dying, while also they're reporting how the Great Barrier Reef has recorded its highest amount of coral in 36 years. They report how this is going to be one of the toughest hurricane seasons this year. And they're also reporting how August may be the third time in 60 years that there actually wasn't even a tropical storm. And whether it's fear or confusion, we have to understand that the corporate media plays an integral role, since of course information is king, and a lot of powerful forces out there do everything in their power to try to suppress not just information, not just news, not just scientific stats, studies, data sets like this government has been doing, but also comedy and satire. This, as we've been finding out, that it's been the U.S. federal government behind many of the censorship and banning efforts, which actually, we've been telling you this for years. You go back to our channel, like literally over 10 years ago, we were like, hey, the government's going to be banning people. The government is banning people. And now we're finally here where, yes, the government is banning people on the internet, including even a comedy parody account of Dr. Fauci, which this administration pressured Instagram to take down. Instagram listened to the government, obviously. I don't think the government gives them a choice in this kind of matters. And as the government's busy financing foreign governments, foreign wars, and taking down comedians for making fun of them, meanwhile, this is how the water looks like in Jackson, Mississippi, where politicians there are telling them to boil it, and it's still allegedly safe. Yes, the photo that you're seeing right now has been going viral all throughout the internet, showing a person filling up their bathtub with what is clearly polluted black water. What does the federal government do here? How are they intervening? Well, they're not. They're just like, screw you, buddy. There's a geopolitical conflict and political aspirations that we have in the international sphere that are a lot more important to us than this. Screw you, peasant civilian, as your life becomes more difficult by the day. This, as a new study confirms, that in New York City, the citizens there are dealing with the nation's most stressful commute. And gee, who would have thought? The lawlessness, the criminality, the crackheads taking a poop in the middle of a stop, cops going after poor little Mexican ladies trying to sell sell you some churros, trying to make ends meet, that would result to people feeling the unhappiest, the most unsatisfied, the most scared, the most stressed out than anywhere else in the United States. This, as I think it's fair to say, an element of lawlessness has gripped this city, as of course there's even viral videos like this going around right now showing an armed robbery happening with two cars literally trying to, of course, run over each other in an attempt that was successful by crooks that stole money from an innocent alleged party. Yes, the videos that you're watching right now, just the scenes out of GTA, literally happened just moments ago in one of the biggest cities in this nation. But don't worry, as your tap water turns black, as you get robbed, as you have to deal with the miserable commute, don't worry, because at the end of the day, you could watch She-Hulk twerk, some good old family-friendly entertainment, or, you should be happy that your huge amount of tax dollars are going to finance efforts for men to pee sitting down and for children to be muzzled in the most uncomfortable and cruelest ways. That's the type of society that I refuse to stay silent on when it comes to calling it out, and that's why I started thebestpoliticalshirts.com, one of the best ways to express your discontent against society by literally breaking the conditioning and matrix and allowing alternative independent voices to proliferate our society, spreading ideas that cannot be censored. Shirts are still one of the best ways to get ideas out there to the general public, and there is no way of big tech social media from being able to censor it. We just launched a We're the Good Guys Trust Us t-shirt that I think is definitely worth getting after Biden's speech this past Thursday. Another one that fits on the larger messaging of what this administration is doing is this one that we had during, of course, their selection that highlights as essentially what this administration is really doing. One of my favorites is, of course, this one that says, "Let's go, Brandon." And we got a crap ton of them, all available on, of course, thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Let me just quickly scroll through here to show you also that you have the ability to be on our website just by simply getting a t-shirt, posting a photo of it. Famous actor Ethan Suplee even did this. So did hero activist Terrell Peel Jackson. She's awesome. And so did a whole bunch of awesome, incredible individuals. And you can as well, just by simply emailing us at info@wearechange.org. If you have any problems with any of the shirts or merchandise, also email us. We will make it right for you. We have invested a lot into customer service. Dave at wearechange.org is also another person that you guys could reach out to. Send your photos, send in your questions. We have a lot of merchandise, some of which we cannot show you here on this platform. I'm particularly proud of a lot of stuff here. And even if you're bored, just scrolling through it will probably provide you with a lot of artistic, creative expressions to release the pressure valve of our current society, which is at an all-time high. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Click the link down in the description below to check out everything that we have to offer you right now. As of course, it's more than shirts too. Socks, hats, mugs, you name it, we got it. Now, I think it's very fair to say that we are going into some very curious times and also troubled times financially, while of course many plutocrats inside of the government that created a horrible situation are literally patting themselves on the back as if they did a good job. The White House spokesperson recently came out, and even though the vast majority of people are financially suffering more than they ever have before, she came out and said this thing.
As you know, the good news is in August, the economy created 315,000 jobs, which is important. We have created nearly 10,000 million jobs since President Biden took office, which is the fastest job growth in history. So you're asking me, where's the success? Here it is. Wait, let me finish. Wait, hold on. As you know, the good news.
You wait right now. Tens of millions of jobs. We did it. We're awesome. We're great. Screw you. And essentially, that's the message that they are saying there. It is very in your face. This, as of course, the political party that they serve are one of the biggest proponents and pushers of the policies within the last 3 years that have created one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history. The billionaire class, richer than ever. Everyone else absolutely screwed. And this larger financial issue is not over. It's not related toward a health crisis or a health scare. It's related also to deliberate energy policies within the United States that have hiked up prices and will continue to have a devastating effect on the poorest people in our society, screwing everyone else over. This problem, this agenda, this narrative has already been implemented in places like Europe, where their situation is a lot more unstable, and soon they are facing a dark winter coming very soon. A dark winter that will be very tough on the people this year and even made that much worse the following year. This says Europe is blindly dependent on Russia for energy in many circumstances, as they're literally financing a war against Russia. This, as we're finding out that the Russian state energy company now says that it cannot resume their supply of natural gas to Germany because of, quote, technical problems. This, as many people are calling this move, a political play, which essentially is a very bold one made by Russia if they are not telling the truth here. As of course, Germany has implemented green policies that have literally seen their own nuclear power plants that aren't even harmful by and large against the environment. But Germany went so green, they went even greener than the Greens, shut off their domestic energy production deliberately, then they became dependent on Russian energy, and Russia's cutting it off. And either because of political or technical issues, it doesn't matter. The problem's here. It's only getting confounded even more. This, as today, we're also finding out that a Ukrainian nuclear power plant has lost power, as its main external power line has been cut off, and now only a reserve line continues to supply electricity to the power grid there. This, as the Ukrainians are literally warning Europe for a, quote, bleak winter. And the conflict inside of Ukraine looks like it's not going to be ending anytime soon, as the Ukrainians just launched another offensive. As I said from the very beginning of this, when there was military experts on CNN telling you that everything was going to be over in 3 days, I told you this was going to be a proxy conflict that was going to probably last many years and could even go as far as 10 years or even indefinitely, as what's happening in Ukraine is of course going to have a devastating impact on not just the people of Russia, not just the people of Ukraine, not just the countries that take in the refugees, but everyone, especially in Europe, and especially internationally as well, as of course a major disruption in this part of the world signals some very serious problems for everyone involved here, especially for countries inside of Africa and the Middle East. This, as just moments ago, we have already seen 70,000 people demonstrate in the streets of Prague against inflation, against the soaring energy prices, and these protests are just beginning, as of course many of the serious price hikes are expected to come in on October, in November. This, as there's going to be a lot more than just strikes, protests, there's going to be a lot of civil unrest, and society is going to be turned upside down, and there's going to be a lot of upheaval in all of Europe that is dealing with a situation that they literally created for themselves. Europe could have tried to be energy independent, could have decided to do domestic energy exploration, could have decided to focus on nuclear energy, and they didn't do that. They tried to implement the UN 2030 vision, the World Economic Forum Build Back Better vision, a vision where, of course, the peasants don't have energy and are denied the access to it, all because of some grand notion to allegedly help the planet. This is what's behind this deliberate shooting in the foot moment by Europe that put them in this situation that politicians, that activists literally cheered for, and now here we are today in this havoc because of their major moves made against the general public, made against their own constituents. A lot of their policies were cheered on by, of course, the corporate media, promoted, as the people who warned about the dangers of this were silenced. And it's not as if these politicians didn't know what they were doing. It's not as if they were going into this blindly. It's not as if they didn't understand the consequences of their moves, because they did. And we have to understand here what's happening here. It's all a part of the larger script that they literally called out for years ago, that they're literally implementing right now. Who's the culprit? Well, there's a lot of people involved in this. A lot of internationalists, a lot of globalists, a lot of people who believe that there's too many people in this world and they need to be culled. And what you're watching right now is the culling of them. You deny people energy, you deny people life. And the policies that have denied us energy were deliberately brought on by organizations and institutions like the World Economic Forum that are literally coming out today and saying, hey, we don't want to talk about conspiracy theories. When in reality, the conspiracy theories were literally calling out what they were going to do right before they even did it. And the agenda that they're implementing, the policies that they pushed through, all lead and coalesce towards the destruction of the human will and spirit that we're watching unfold right in front of us right now, and was only perpetrated because of ignorance. And one of the best ways to fight against a lot of this nonsense is to inform yourself, to be aware of what's going on, and to not go along with this bull crap. As of course, every time a politician says, hey, we're here to help you, we're here to help the environment, we want to help the world, they're absolutely full of crap. That's my point of view. That's my opinion. That's my perspective. If you agreed with it, share it with your friends and family members. It is more important than ever. Again, MSNBC cheering on the war drums against each citizens, pushing the divide and conquer agenda, promoted on this platform. Independent media, independent voices like this don't get promoted. We're not even in the search. In many instances, even when you specifically search for us. Again, the game is rigged. One way to unrig it is by you participating in this independent media organization. And because you do, I'm still able to be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching these videos, getting the shirts, and participating in this independent media broadcast. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.